click was a click to click the thing that was clicked. So that's why there's a delay going on there.
Did you click it?
I click it. Yeah, I mean, you got to turn a click
Oh,
over
you're
here, then you got to
live.
go back over there and click it over there. And now probably within 3 or 4 seconds, you should see it on Pork and Bean Show.
Yeah, we're there live. Hey, everybody.
Pork and beans in the can, pork and beans in the pan. Man, we love pork and beans.
Uh, Something like that.
Oh, why does
Pork and
everything
beans.
screw up on the right at the last minute?
Oh, it's just the way it is. And it is more so now. It's like the energies are quickened for some things, and for other things, it seems like it's just dragging. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very interesting right now. So,
I heard a psychic lady today while I was browsing around. A psychic lady was saying that we're going to have this big collapse and everything's going to collapse. But then she says after that it's going to be really nice. But it's not like the earth is going to shake or anything, but
yeah.
everything's going to fall down. All the governments and institutions and ideas and
Mm-hmm.
beliefs, all that stuff pretty much going to go.
I
Well,
believe that.
they're going to have to change.
Oh man.
Whether they're going to all fall down at once is something else. Because if you just think logically about if everything of our structure and way of life falls down, there's going to be mass hysteria. And so those of us who are watching are seeing things coming down. Walls are coming down between people. People are looking at their livelihood in a totally different way. More people now are connecting to nature, whether it's in their yard or wherever it is. They're feeling that pull um, that we need. So, I look at things, and, other than, some people say, well, uh, you're not a very logical person. Actually, I'm quite logical in a lot of things. So,
Mhm.
yes, things have to change. I've been seeing all kinds of things on YouTube. I haven't read them or anything about they're predicting the election and what's going to happen with that and why that's going to happen. And the interesting thing is, I see people who are saying they are psychic and have this information are pro Trump and pro Biden. So you've got, what is it that's going on here? You're telling me Trump's going to be in and everything's going to change and we're going to be okay. And then you've got these others, are saying this totally something else. So what I do when I start seeing that self is I sit down and think for myself about this. Okay, this person has said this. Let me look at it. Let me analyze it for how I understand things, because that's the way that I go to understand things, is to go to myself and to talk with my guides. Now, other people will say, well, your guides don't know what they're talking about, or you don't know what you're talking about. Well, maybe not for you. I don't. But I'm living in my reality, in my life. And so this is what I see. And I go back to what Kashim said: don't judge as good or bad. Ask yourself, are you compatible with this? Are you compatible with this thought, with this person, with whatever? And if you are not compatible with it, just take yourself from it. So don't, he basically what he was telling me was to trust my inner knowing of how things make me feel. I see we have Wild Man here today.
Oh, I wanted to talk to Thom Cantrall. Are you
Oh.
sending those images?
I'm getting them there. Hang on.
Are you going to send them to the message box? That's
Yes, I will.
okay. Because if I
I'm looking for them now.
went to my personality page, it would it would get tainted.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
No comment. No comment.
What did I say? Oh, never mind.
I got a lot of BS on there.
Pictures, screen. There we
The
go.
Masked
There's
Man.
Yeah, it's me, Thom.
Hi,
What-
Thom.
Hear me?
What's
I
going on?
hear
Yeah,
you, I hear
can
you.
hear you. It sounds like you're talking to a sock, but that's
I got allergies. They got construction dust everywhere here, so it's an issue.
talk among yourselves for a moment.
All right,
A moment.
Uh-huh.
try and fix it a bit.
among my cells. I have many cells. Let me give you a
Yeah,
list.
so, yes, I
My
know.
spirit, my heart, my will, that's my
Mhm.
body. I got like 50 trillion cells. We're all pals.
What are you
Right.
doing with it there?
You all know each other personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any one of them could be a stand-in for me.
Of course, it is you.
That's funny. That's our Constitution. We have a Constitution, and it's not a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Constitution is not a piece of paper. It's who you are. It's your body, your digestion, your thoughts, your feelings, the whole thing. That what you eat and your state of being. That's your Constitution.
Right.
And what it says in the Constitution is, in the paper Constitution, they take away your powers and give it to the government. That's basically what it says.
That's true.
In order to form a more perfect union,
All right.
we're going to take your powers of your Constitution and give them to us. So you got executive powers, you've got judicial powers, and I don't know who the other guys are.
That's
that
an
was enough.
interesting outlook on that, Michael, because I look at it differently. In order to be a society, we do have to share our powers,
My mouth open. Yeah.
and for the good of the society, we have to give up some of our individual rights. And I'm going to screw this transfer up, I know, by talking while I'm doing it. So you may have 15 pictures where there should be 5,
Or something. Heather?
but that's part of society. You have the right to swing your arm as much as you want to,
My
but
nose.
with the Constitution, that limits that right at the end of my nose. And that's part of living in a society.
All right.
If we all lived by ourselves in the woods, wouldn't be any problem.
Well, I'm just talking about sitting right here in my little spare bedroom.
Mhm.
I don't really need a government. I'm
Nope,
doing all
no,
right
you don't.
right now.
Mm-mm.
So it's
But
Nope.
when you go
skin
outside,
in, I'm good to go.
but when you go to Walmart, you do.
I
Well,
don't know
you're not
about
supposed to
that
go
one.
around stealing stuff from people because
No,
that's
I
against
mean, when you're
that's
among-
against their Constitution.
When you move when you're among other people, that's what I mean with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have the natural law for that. You don't need a government for that. The natural law is do
Well,
no harm.
no, we do
do what
need
you
a
will,
government.
but do no harm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
people will do harm.
Well, the thing is, and I've said this for so many years, when people talk about needing protection for the Sasquatch, they don't need our protection.
No, they don't.
The
right.
problem with what's going on with humanity is we pass laws every day,
That's
and
right.
we have many break them every day. It's like that old adage, the only thing that protects your house with a locked door is for an honest person to turn the knob. A thief, it won't matter if your door is
That's
locked
right.
or not locked. And
Mhm.
so there we go back to, who are we individually in this? How do we treat other people? How do we see our right over someone else's right, which a lot of people take laws and things to be for them,
Mhm.
and some laws that's somebody else. That's not me. I don't have to do that. So what
Mhm.
we're doing now, and with the help of the Sasquatch people, is learning to look at everyone and this world in a different way. And that's the key
Sasquatch
right there.
has a very minimal government, and it's not on a national or global. It's their family, and their wherever they are. That's where their government is.
Well, they do have a government. It's called the Sasquatch Council, you know?
It,
Really?
Yes.
Mhm.
I
Do
seen
they issue money?
No, they don't issue money, but they issue, I guess, rules, for
And
For
things
their-
like who's gonna get married this, or who's gonna mate with whom.
I don't know
Uh,
about that, but rules of of communicating with humans. There's certain rules, and they must.
How do you know this? They tell you this? Are you one of those mind
Yes,
speak people?
yes, I'm one of those mind speak people.
Hallelujah. We need more mind speak people. If we're not
Michael-
confused enough, we will be once we hear all.
Michael, I put those pictures in your, on that, yeah, the messenger. And I may have duplicated some.
Duplicated.
they're all
They
there.
only have one picture in there reproduced 16 times.
Oh. They look similar. They look very similar, but they're different.
Okay, let me see.
And they're numbered, so,
Oh, I see what's going on.
yeah.
So what's this start with, number one?
Yeah, number one, there's a couple of Hieronymus there in his suit, and then the rest of them are all of a lady with Patty. And those are numbered in order.
Oh, well, we're not going to give them an order. It's going to be a little bit blinky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and which suit are we talking about? The original Patty suit or something else?
We're
Well,
talking about
this is mostly just body, body comparisons and.
But there is no real suit, is there?
no,
No.
the suit we're talking about is Bob Hieronymus in his, what's his name, suit. The red one.
Yeah, the horsehair suit that they had
Yeah,
supposedly
yeah.
had made. That
Yeah.
when you see that suit,
Yeah,
that's not Patty. That's not Sasquatch at all.
that's not
So
even close to real. Yeah.
Right.
Thom is probably, and this is my opinion and something that I've seen through my years of being in this, is the most knowledgeable. There's only one person, I believe, that knows more than what Thom has documented and brought to people, and that's Bob himself.
Yeah. And Bob's the reason why I'm so well
Yeah.
versed in it, is because he's been my best friend for so many years now. And the guy's still going, 93 years old, and still,
Yeah.
yeah,
Good for him.
yeah. Talked to him just
That's what
the
you
other
get for
day.
being a
So,
vegetarian.
what is your verdict? Is that a
Was.
real Sasquatch in the film?
That's what we're gonna talk about today.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay.
Mhm.
So we're going to talk about the truth of the Patterson Gimlin film. It's like,
Mhm.
is it real or is it not real?
Mhm.
So, let me get this guy, clear that off. Doop. So did you want to start?
Well, I want to start off with just something a little
Can I
different.
start, please? Can I start? Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm 60 years old, and I'm familiar with the Patty since I was about 9 years old. I first seen it on the Mike Douglas show one afternoon after school, right? And to me, I had no reason to doubt that that wasn't a real creature. You know, to me, it looked natural. You know, I didn't think anything else but the real deal. And Roger Patterson was on the show, Mike Douglas show, but no
Mhm.
Gimlin, right? I don't know why, but it was only Roger Patterson who presented the film and talked a bit. And
If I can tell you why, because immediately after the film, Roger's brother-in-law uh, took over the management of things and left Bob out
okay,
to the point that they even
I heard he signed some
even went.
contract or something. He got paid off a certain small amount of money
Oh, he sold
sold
his rights
rights. Yeah,
to Renee DeHinden for $10.
yeah,
But that was a few years later. But at the time, uh, Al, can't remember his last name right now. Even when they were in Kansas City, they hired a fake Bob to be with them on stage.
right.
So yeah, Bob dropped out of it very early. When they got back, he never really had anything to do with the film at all. After they got back to Yakima, that's why.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
maybe we could do a little adjusting of your camera there. Tom Cantrall's got it's sitting at his nose. Could you if you
There
move
we go.
I
Yeah.
wasn't looking, I was busy.
There you
There
go.
we
There you
go.
go. Everybody looks normal now. I like that.
Yeah. That's my background, that's our research area in BC. That's where Brian and Sue and I researched.
Right on. So what about in the film where they show the two juvenile Sasquatch that have been slain by John Green, laying on the ground with blood and that?
What film is that? I've never seen that. And that
That's the Gimlin film.
had
There's
nothing to do with Patterson Gimlin.
You know, I think we're getting off of topic here as to what we want to present in this part of the show. And Tom's going to take us through
right,
all
but
of the
now,
research he's
can I ask,
done.
right, I've done some research myself multiple times on this.
Well, I'm sure you have, and a lot of people have.
But no, hold on. Can I say one thing? Is this only the 1 minute clip we're going to be talking about, not the whole 1 hour or whatever the length the Patterson film?
The Patterson film was what 24 seconds or pardon me,
Whatever.
24 feet of film. Okay, that's all it was. The
Okay.
Patterson Gimlin film consisted of 1 minute only.
Yes.
Everything else come from somebody else.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
No, that's what I seen on the Mike Douglas show. That same 1 minute,
Well,
whatever.
that is the Patterson Gimlin film.
Okay.
Anything else is garbage brought in by other people for other reasons.
Okay. That's all I want
Okay.
to know.
Commentary.
Mm-hmm. You gotta remember, when they were riding up that creek bottom, when she appeared, Roger jumped off the horse, used the camera that he had, and like I said, he used the last, 24 feet of film on a 100-foot roll. The other film had already been exposed, and that was just film of Bob riding and leading the pack horse and the scenery around. That's all that was on that film. Everything else, anything about what John Green did, that was later. John Green wasn't there.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, I know John Green. I met him. I talked to him. Okay, he didn't show up for 2 weeks afterwards.
Okay.
Okay, Bob, and Roger were back in Yakima long before that.
Really?
Okay, they filmed on that film was on Saturday, and Sunday they were back in Yakima.
Right.
Okay.
How
So
far?
everything,
8-hour drive, 12-hour drive?
it's
Right.
about a 16-hour drive at that time.
Okay,
Okay. And yeah, and they left out of there in the morning in a rainstorm, barely got out of the canyon. A lot of people don't know this part of the story. When they left, it was raining cats and dogs. The
right,
road was not gravelled, it was just mud, dirt road. So by the time they started up the pass, it was, the truck was sliding. They had the horses in it. They almost went over the bank. They took the wrong road first and had to turn around.
right,
And Bob's trying to back up. He's got Roger guiding him, trying to back up out of this hole where the mudslide had slid down over the road. And he looks out and Bob's peering up Roger's peering up the hill. He says, "Look, Bob," he says, "that whole mountain's come running right down at us." And Bob says, "Get your, just start speaking, in gear. We got to get out of here." And they got out, got turned around and started up the mountain, nearly slid off the road there, had to slide back. Bob got out, hiked to the top of the mountain, got a backhoe that was there, drove it down, hooked up to the truck, and pulled the truck to the top of the pass.
wow,
That's how they got out.
incredible.
Yeah, then they, from there, Roger says, "Let's just go home. I'll help you drive."
Right.
So they got to the highway, turned on the highway. Roger went to sleep and woke up when they got to Yakima. But you got to remember, you got to give Roger a little slack too. At this time, he's in remission with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma
Okay,
cancer. It's what killed him 3 years later. Okay. So yeah, that's the story of how they got out of there. And everything else happened afterwards.
right,
Okay. And they, that's the end of the Patterson Gimlin film. But to start with, if you want to look back on that film, you've got to remember there were people, knowledgeable people in the industry who said it was impossible to do a suit like that in 1967.
right,
John Chambers, who won the Academy Award for the film Planet of the Apes in that same year, said, "I could not have done that. The material simply did not exist." Ruben Steindorf, Jim Henson, that could not have been done at that time. We did not have the ability. Even Walt Disney Studios said they could not do that.
right,
That creature in that suit did things that no animatron could do. Okay? It blinked. It raised its toes. It moved its fingers. All this is not possible in a suit. Then here come Bob Hieronymus. Oh, I was the man in the suit.
right.
Okay.
Says,
So, Michael, could you put that picture up of Hieronymus in his suit?
Okay. See if we can
There's-
do it.
Yeah.
Give us one of these guys. And gonna look kind of, oops. Share. Is that the one?
Yeah. There you go. There's a comparison of Bob Hieronymus in his suit and Patty.
okay,
Anybody see any differences there?
Yeah,
Okay.
this got
Number
wrinkles.
one,
He got wrinkles of suit behind his knees.
he's got more wrinkles in that suit than a fat man's chin.
Yep. I mean, the
Okay.
arms, there's no muscles in the arms, in the legs. I mean, if you look at the calf of that right leg on Hieronymus suit and then on Patty, there's a world of difference just
Look-
right
look-
there.
Look at those muscles rippling on Patty. Yeah,
Yep.
and look at the arm length. We're
The
gonna
arm
get into
short.
that at big time later. But look at
Look
that
how
arm
long,
length
look
right
how long
now.
that arm swings down. See that? And then it curls up. His does not curl right up. His fingers, see that? These
Mhm.
curl right up, the fingers. See that? Those fingers do not curl up fully, right? So they're still short 2 inches at least in length.
Okay, so
Right.
I think we can probably dismiss Hieronymus' claim. Now, where did that claim come from? There was a fellow writing a book called The Birth of Sasquatch or something like that.
Right.
And he, the name escapes me right now, and it was probably just as well. But he recruited Hieronymus, told him he was gonna be a millionaire for this.
Right.
Okay, that's where Hieronymus came from, because he didn't come out with this until 10 years after the film.
Right.
He said, Roger owed me monies and everybody else made money from this, so why shouldn't I? You know, well, there's your reasons right
Well, the
there.
lady
Bob didn't make any money from it.
yeah, who
I
knows
can't
Bob?
believe any of those guys made any money on that. I mean, it
Yeah,
wasn't like in
Roger
a
did.
movie theaters.
Well, one is
Yeah.
if you hired Bob Hieronymus to wear a suit, that means he's an actor or whatever. You have to be in the union, and no union, no film. They would have shut down the film if they hadn't recorded Bob Hieronymus on union business.
There's lots of films made by non-union actors,
Right.
especially at this stage. But yeah,
You would have to register them afterwards, but they didn't. So, was there a third party involved?
yeah, Al Diatley was involved.
Pardon me?
Al Diatley was involved. He was Roger's brother-in-law, and he financed the trip across country, and they made a ton of money in theaters, showing this in theaters across the country.
Okay.
Okay, it was just a 1 minute clip, but I don't know if you remember, but that used to be a big thing for independent films to show. They'd advertise like mad and show in theaters, and that's what they did. And yeah, they Al Diatley became rich over it, and Roger made money on it, but of course it didn't benefit him. But I think his wife, I think Patricia, did well on it. She
Right.
still owns the rights to the film. Nobody knows where the original is, but she has a first generation copy.
Supposedly the
Okay.
Russians have an original copy too, was sent to them. They requested back then and
A
got one.
first generation copy.
Yeah.
Not-
But
not
they've
a-
never
not-
come out to say if it's real or not all these years, even though they have an original copy. They studied the film, but have still kept silent for 40, 50 years on this. They won't give.
Igor Burtsev has stated.
Yeah, but he's not the Russian government with the actual facts. He's just a secondary person. Let's leave him out, please. Okay, real government officials who have, hard evidence that this is real.
This is not working.
Right, okay, go ahead.
Igor Burtsev is the head of the Human and Society of Moscow.
Oh,
It is the agency in Russia for investigation of humanoid.
but there's bigger heads up who call the shots, right? There always is in Russia. Secrets that we don't know. Secret people, right? Who will, sign
I'll
off on
tell
it,
you what, you take over and you do it.
right? No, go ahead.
No, do whatever you want to say, please.
Well, I just did. I just saying,
I'm not here to argue.
right? I just said we got to leave the Russians out because they've never given us an official government paper.
Michael, Arlo.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe
This,
I'm right.
excuse me for just a second, guys.
Yeah.
This is something that Tom's brought. It's not up for discussion during the time that he's
right.
presenting this.
Okay. All right.
After Tom's done, Tom,
Okay.
you are welcome to give your opinion
Okay.
about whatever. But we're going to respect Tom here and let him present what he has.
Okay.
And
no-
the one thing we're not going to do on here is come on and talk about what this person can do or that person can do or whatever, unless, you know, we know for certain that
Right.
that's what is going on.
Said, I've had a
So,
vested interest in this for 50 years myself, and I've studied it, you know, and all the information.
this, I'm sorry, Tom, but
Uh,
our Tom Cantrall has the floor. Please
Yeah.
continue,
all right,
Tom.
but I would like 2 minutes too to speak too.
You've got you will have
That's
30
unfair to me,
minutes.
man. Like, come on. I
You
told
will
my
have.
opinion, right?
We don't usually have to
I
do
know,
this,
but
Tom, on this show.
okay.
You can talk when Tom
All
Cantrall
right,
is
okay.
done.
I will listen for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. He can have the floor. I will just listen. Thank you. Go ahead. I will.
So
You
Tom, this is the, there's not any one or two, but there's this 3As, whereas that's the earliest one I found. Is that all
That's,
right?
yeah, that's figure number one. Okay, and what we're looking at here, Mr. Bill Munns, who ran the school for costume making in Hollywood for many years. He made costumes for people like the creature from the Black Lagoon and many others. Bill took this film, he went to Patricia Patterson's home, and he studied this film, not frame by frame, but layer by layer of emotion within the frames. Okay. He determined things like the, if you remember the, oh, pardon me, my nerves are up right now. So my memory is weak. I'll tell you what, why don't you let Tom do his presentation and give me time to calm down, settle down, and get my mind settled down again.
Look, I'm sorry if I upset you, Tom, there. You know, go ahead. Just take a deep breath and relax.
It's more than that, okay?
All right.
Just go ahead and do your presentation first.
Right, okay.
And I'll follow you.
Right. Okay. Well, you could leave the photo up. You know, it was interesting because I could point a couple things out. The Patty.
Oh, okay. Let me go back to that again. And we go back over here. Share. Share.
Oh.
Share.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slide it over. Yes, sure. Okay, right there. Right. It was interesting that the facial area, right? See that with just a little slit right there for the eyes and the nose. I believe there's a juvenile or young one on the on her left side face holding on. That's why you only see this little strip. It's surprising Bob Haranis there made a suit with the same kind of slit, which isn't real. I have a picture of Patty's full face when the young one moves the hand. I actually have a photo that I managed to take a screenshot of, the full face photo. So right there, you know, then the suit isn't real, okay, that he's wearing, because he would know that there was a creature, a young one, Sasquatch carry their young. And in the film, in that short clip, you can see Patty reaching up to the tree to put the young one and move the other one around. I think there was two young ones. This one's has a young one riding on her head right there. If you can see that or not, but that's what I know from research and doing breakdowns, okay? Right? So right there, that's why I know that suit isn't real, okay? All right, anyways. And there could be one or two other ones hitching a ride. And I've seen hundreds of photos of them, you know, carrying their young, like all a lot of forest animals carry their young. Sasquatch are no different on their bodies. They carry their young. So we have to take that into account in this photo. And what are we really seeing here? We're seeing a parent with young, you know, presenting itself to the world. Remember, the camera had no batteries to be drained. It was a wind up or whatever it was, kinetic. The wind up energy,
Yeah, it had a spring in it,
right?
right?
Yeah, spring, whatever it is. Yes, it was wind up, old style, no batteries. Okay. For that 16 millimeter film camera. Okay. So any energy, vibrational energy couldn't be drained from that camera. So they were able to capture the film. That's why so many others who have tried, you get blurry images, fairly clean footage you have. But I also, like I said, I believe there's at least two other entities hitching a ride on Patty that day. And what is she showing us to the world? That we are a family, right? That's the real Patty. And I've seen myself 3 or 4 times, especially 2 major crossings, 20, 30 feet in front of me in my truck, in that car, truck, whatever, same walk, right? Bob Haranes could not lift his back leg, his leg up 45-degree angle. Okay. How would he know how to do that unless he's seen the film? Okay. Previously. All right. He wouldn't have known to do that maneuver. How would he know to do that? Right. So I seen that same walk in person, 20 feet in front of me on a clear day, sunny day, right in front of my truck, crossing the road slowly, looking at me with the mind speak. Don't be afraid. Okay. And that. So there you go. I've seen, that same walk twice in front of me on a road, 2 different roads.
Well, you saying you see the same look or the same actual Patty?
Same look, same full face of hair. There was no thin line. There was either full face of hair, the ones I seen, but they did the same walk exactly. The same swing of the arm, the same 45-degree angle when they lift up the leg there, below the knee down to the foot is raised up 45-degree right in front of me. I've seen that exactly like how Patty walks here. Bob could not learn that walk till after he's seen the film. Okay, he didn't know how to walk like that. How would you know to do a walk like that? All right, he didn't. Okay, I've seen him do that walk perfectly in front of me. And that that
That's a good point.
the same head twist, looking towards me. Right here, yes, here they're twisted right, but in my case it was to the left. Okay, exact same head type of twist to look at me. Right, and telling me, mind speak, don't be afraid. Couple times, yeah, and 8 foot plus, massive barrel chest, and that you're in your truck, but I didn't still feel, I don't know, not
Was that your first mind speak, or have you had mind speak before that?
years ago when I was younger at camp and stuff, right? But no, that was when I was about in my 20s or 30s. I've had a mind speak several times, multiple times. Last few times was about 2018, 2017. I had a few sessions going with them. 2019, then not too much during COVID. Once, maybe twice max, and being very quiet till recently. I did a healing ceremony for the Sabe, and I had some interactions, but I didn't get the mind speak yet. No, I've had it like on and off since I was a young teenager.
Did they keep it usually to just a few words like relax or don't worry and stuff like that, or did they talk a lot more?
Mine was always simple conversation, Okay, simple conversation,
Actually,
simple
I can
words,
get my pills now.
right? 3 or 4 words,
Okay,
right?
how about-
Gail?
Can I get your stuff in there?
Sure.
3 or 4 words to
Keep
get
ready
things
for it.
going, just like, I always ask them,
Okay.
keep it simple, Simon,
In bed
right? For me,
FYI.
I don't know how other people have this elaborate,
She'll be there in a minute.
conversations. That's all the power to them. But for me, I need simple words. And they've never given me their names. Like I said, I only got Sasquatch Council put in my head a few times, the Sasquatch Council with 4 or 5 of them up there, like, at one time talking to me, right? But many voices come down to one voice. You understand, Michael?
What did the council say?
For which?
You said you said the council talked to you. What did they say?
About different things, right? Just simple stuff. Like you have to give me a, I'd have to write something down or something, whatever. Like it was during the exchange for my I got a gift. I was gifted a pet rabbit from them, which we talked about a month on and off, 2, 3 times a week till I received my gift. And it was a miracle. I still have the little dude here somewhere around here, right? 8 years later, 7, 8 years later, he's still kicking around, right? But he's got the marking and whatever. It was a remarkable. They just told me in the end, go get your friend, go get your pet, right? And didn't tell me where to go, which direction, nothing. I went outside the building with my partner Heather, and I'm looking around. I see a neighbor coming up the street. We asked her. Next, boom, boom, boom. Her friend had the rabbit, pregnant rabbits. We got a young baby rabbit within a week. And just one person I asked, and that was it. Our next door neighbor, I didn't have a clue. Okay, but the Sasquatch knew. Okay, I had lost my other rabbit, and we were all upset, so heartbroken, and we only had her for a year or two. You know, it was, and I'm not talking about it, but they felt my pain, our loss, and gifted us a new rabbit. My girlfriend wanted a cat, okay, but they gave us a rabbit. Okay, and yeah, and it was through Mindspeak with the Sasquatch Council a couple times a week, 2 to 3 times, and I kept asking, questions and that, and I got simple soon or whatever, like simple 1 or 2 word answers, yes, soon, yes, no, whatever, stuff like that. Okay, that's all I got.
I think that's amazing. That's wonderful.
Right.
And it really touched your heart. I can tell. I bet you love that little rabbit.
Oh yeah, yes, I do. He's like, I have 3 female cats I had, and he was the only male rabbit. Right? It's been for a lot. I saved his life, and also I had to ask the Sasquatch Council to help me save him once or twice because he was ailing, and they did. They did some healing for him, just like I did for what? Are you feeling better now? Okay. You okay, Thom?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Feeling better? Go ahead. I'll give you the floor.
Okay. Okay, could you have that picture back up, Michael?
Yeah. Let me just gonna take a second here. What did I do there?
I got one that says figure 0. That's
There's no figure 0 in this group.
okay. The one with the light, the one you had up there.
That's 3A.
There you go. There you go. What we're looking at here, talking about Bob or Bill Muntz. Bill ran the school for costume making. He did this analysis for one of the major networks of the Patterson Gimlin film, and when he did, he went as far as to even go into the emulsion layers on the film. And if you remember, there was a big hurrah here recently about massacre theory. That they used a vision of on the leg of it looked like a wound, and this was M.K. Davis's deal. But on the original film, that didn't appear. That was an anomaly introduced by copying copies of copies of copies of copies. And there were other things that they did the same way. By going back here to a first generation copy, you see no blemish on the leg. Okay. And what Bill has done here, he's taken, now Patty is female. So he took a female figure and did a comparison. Now the one on the far left is the original figure. The one in the middle, we're going to alter here and there to match Patty. As you can see, the leg has been changed. to match Patty's leg angle. The heights are adjusted the same, and then we go forward. Next one, please. Next picture. There. Now, if you look at this one, we've drawn a line that makes the green line, third line down, aligns their buttocks. But look what it does to the knees. And then look what it does to the head. And the shoulder lines. Now the shoulders and butts are fairly much in line, but everything else is out of line. It doesn't work, does it? It's
No, there's definitely not, it's not human.
yeah. That makes it very problematic to fit a costume, even if it's the right size. Okay. Now let's go to the next figure.
Well, we might have to fish around for that.
Okay, that's okay.
How
And
about
what-
that one?
What
Oh,
is
no,
this?
I think there's a 5 in here somewhere, that one.
There we go.
What is
Now-
the estimated size of Patty? You know?
Patty was 7'4" tall.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now the brow line becomes problematical. Okay, because Patty's brow is not straight up. If you notice the little figure to the left of Patty there, that's a side view. From her brow ridge, her head goes back. The lady's head goes straight up. All right. When you adjust it to the red line, there's still a lot of head going straight up. So if you build a costume with Patty's head, a human head won't fit in it.
Right.
Okay. Now, next picture.
Okay, that's 5, 6.
There you go. Now, we're back to looking at the crotch line again, the purple line. Okay. The costume adds to a person, not take away. And if you notice in this one, her butt line and Patty's don't match. Hers is lower. If you were to, like I say, if you put a costume on her, it would be even lower. It wouldn't work. Okay. Now, next one.
Oh, this one, that.
Okay.
Wait a minute,
Good.
I think there's an
We-
8. Let's see. Well, that's Will Smith. 9, that one?
Yeah. Now, what we're looking at here is neck and eye. Hieronymus said that you put shoulder pads on. So we increase this 25, increase Patty 25% in size. So we can fit shoulder pads in. Now look what it does to the eyes. If you look to the left of Patty's eyes, you see where the human's figure's eyes would be in that situation, in that costume. What we've done is mark the point of the shoulder and the neckline. And you can see on the green line, the point of the shoulder is one line below the line, and the neckline is the line above the line. It's totally skewed from what you're seeing there. Okay.
Yeah,
We're
that's pretty,
still
that's
having
pretty
problems.
obvious.
Yeah. And we still have problems with the butt and the knee. Well, they said, well, we can rotate the head to get the eyes to fit, to fit in. Can you see the eyes? Are you seeing those? And just to the left of Patty's eyes. Now we're going to rotate her head so that they can get closer. Next picture, please.
This is
Wow, look what it did. Yeah, it got closer to Patty's eyes, but now they're almost vertical, aren't they? And notice the shoulder and and the neck dots are still way out of line. Okay,
I think that's
Yeah.
it.
okay,
Where you're I'll go through them again.
right. No, you're all right. You're all right.
I think that was the end.
Uh-huh.
There's the 6, that's the crotch location concern, the brow and
Mhm.
forehead. Any way you look at it, Patty doesn't
Any
have
way you look at it, the
human
PGF
dimensions.
figure, the Patty figure has proportions that are very odd, to say the least. And it makes normal costume making impossible. In this case, you just could not, look at that. Again, we're back to this. Look at the differences. Okay. There have been many people come forward and say they were the person in the suit. Bob Hieronymus said, I drove from my home in Yakima down to Orleans, met Bob and Roger there on the beach, put the suit on. It was made of red hide of a red horse. Later changed out to a black horse, and made on fishing waders that I pulled up, and then a top that I came over. Okay, I'm going to ask you right here, where is the seam between the top and the bottom?
There
Okay.
isn't,
There isn't, is there?
no.
And if you put back shoulder pads on, what's that do to your back? It takes it completely away. Takes it, you have no backbone anymore. You just have a cloth. But in frame 81 of this film, her backbone is very clear.
Right.
Her buttocks are very clear. And there's no seam for a top and a bottom whatsoever. Okay. People who are in the industry said, if this is a suit, it is the best ever made, for we could not do this in 1967.
Right.
I think this actor had like a zipper in the back or something, and I don't know how he got in that suit.
That's what I've been trying to figure out too, you know? Did he
Okay,
put,
where's it?
the head on and then zip himself in? He had to. Because I don't see, it's not a two-piecer. You would see that.
Bill Munn says the back is always the worst part. You never film from the back. Yet
I think-
this film is entirely done from the back.
Right. So it could be a side zipper, the side you're not seeing, you know?
Yeah, it could be.
Could be. It could be magic too, but it's not. All right.
Right.
Now, the killer, look at those arms. Here I am pointing at my screen.
Right.
Look at those arms. There's a scientific formula. It's called intermembral index. It's taught in Anatomy 101 in every college that teaches anatomy. That's the ratio of your arm length from the shoulder to the wrist to your leg length from the shoulder to the wrist. Thank you for drawing that. That's perfect. Do that on Hieronymus too. In human beings, that ratio is 72. Our arms are 72% the length of our legs. In chimpanzees, that ratio is 105. Their arms are 5% longer than their legs. In gorillas, it's 124. Their arms are substantially longer than their legs. Guess what hers is? 84. Totally different, isn't it? That right there, barring everything else we've said, is scientific reproducible proof of the existence of Sasquatch and the veracity of this film. Take the Memorial Day footage, 84. Take the Independence Day footage, 84. Take the Marble Mountain footage, 84. Take Todd Standing's Matilda, 72. Take, what's his name? Have put up footage, 72. Take everything NUTV puts up, 72.
Really?
Yeah.
I believe
That's
it.
all you have to do to determine whether it's right or wrong. Now, in the days of AI, if the person knows this ratio, it can still be fake.
Right.
Today, all I can say is if it's 72, it's not Sasquatch. Because they could, now the first argument is, oh, they could use their arm extensions. No, they can't. Because you still have to have the same ratio between shoulder and elbow and wrist. Put arm extensions on. I'd have to put a 4-inch on my arm, a 4-inch extension to reach an 84 IMI. The only way I could do that and maintain the ratio between my upper arm and my lower arm would be to surgically add 2 inches to my upper arm and 2 inches to my lower arm. And I doubt I'm going to allow that. Okay, does that make sense? Now, do you have any questions about what we've talked about? Come on, I'm not that good.
Oh,
Well,
yes,
I
you
was
are.
a believer. I never had any argument with it. To me, I
No.
thought the whole idea of there's a man in a suit
Mhm.
was just nonsense. Really, I couldn't. I was a believer from the beginning.
Same here. Exactly.
And I realize I am preaching to the choir here.
Right. But hold on. But my friend, friends I've interviewed on my show recently, a couple, and there's several people who are a Damon that it's a guy in a suit and no matter what proof that you can present, they've been nailed by the disinfo. So
Well, you have to remember, there's a good percentage of our population who are not going to believe no matter what you do. You could parade
Right.
one in front of their face and they wouldn't believe it.
Well, no, they believe in Sasquatch. They just don't believe. They're falling victim to all the disinformation that now they believe it's a guy in a suit. Well, they don't want to hear the real proof or whatever.
You're absolutely right there. And that's what I'm saying. There are many. The people who slay me are the ones that go into the I believe in Sasquatch group and scream out, that it's fake and it's not real and you're all dreaming. And Arla, did we have 18 people dreaming when the 2 of them came to our campfire in Georgia?
Oh, no, no.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
were, and still yet, anytime where we've been, there have been people who have seen standing right next to somebody else, and they make it totally something else,
Yeah, exactly.
for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing to me that when people look at this, I mean, because the Hieronymus, this picture is out there everywhere. You can see pictures of this red suit all over. And it always reminds me of several years ago when the Russians had put a fake Sasquatch in a cage and were telling everyone that they had caught it. And all you had to do was look at it. It had the same wrinkly legs, and you could even see the shoe. So, it is just, it's crazy, because people don't think logically. They don't look at something, they make a determination, um, because a lot of times of what someone says, when the truth is out there, it's not always easy to find. But yeah, and there's been a lot of fake suits through the years,
Oh, yeah.
and there's been a lot of real Sasquatch through the years that everybody screamed fake. And now it's easy to prove. All you've got to do is use some scientific things to help you look at the ratio of the
Mhm.
body.
Right.
You got to remember this, we can't prove anything. All we can do is offer evidence. It's up to each individual to determine how much evidence is required to constitute proof in their own mind. That's why we have 12 jurors on a jury panel, because each one of them is going to take a different amount of evidence to understand proof or innocence. And it takes all 12 of them to agree to get a commitment, to get a guilty verdict. And that is the reason. So I don't really care what other people think. I just do my presentation, and it's up to them to accept it or reject it. It's that simple.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with if they reject it. I might say, geez, might wake up in the 21st century, but I don't care if they don't. If they don't accept it, maybe the time will come when they will.
You know,
A prime
one of the
example.
things, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
One of the things that you have that a lot of people don't have access to is Bob.
Yes.
And, Bob and I are very good friends too, and have been for many years. And you can ask Bob, he's going to tell you what was going on there. Were there other Sasquatch there?
Mhm.
Was Patty carrying one, or is this just something someone is seeing?
Mhm.
And so Thom has access to the man, I guess.
I'll give you a direct quote from him. Thom, that day there were three beings in the bottom of that canyon. There was me, there was Roger, and there was that figure. There was no one else. No one else. There was no Hieronymus. There was no other Sasquatch. There were the three of us. That's it. And Bob is the most honorable man I have ever met in
Yeah.
my life. I guarantee you I would go to the wall for that man and have a time or two. Okay. He's an old cowboy, and I mean he lives by the cowboy tradition. 100 years ago, what people have said to him and about him would have got them shot. Maybe 150 years ago now. I am getting a little older. I'll be 81 next Monday, so.
I did hear him once say I've heard him 3 times on Sasquatch Chronicles being interviewed. And I only heard him say it on one show only, that he had the rifle up, he had it in the crosshairs, but he couldn't pull the trigger because it looked too human, he said. Okay. Is that true? Did he really have the rifle raised? Has he told you that part?
He never raised his rifle. He never raised his rifle. I had it for protection if she turned and attacked us. I
Okay.
never had the idea to shoot at all. He did pull it out of the scabbard and step down off the horse. And that's when the frame 354, the look back frame, happened. When he did that, she looked back at him.
All right, because he did. That's what he did say that to Wes Germer on Sasquatch Chronicles on one of the episodes. So it was a revelation. That was the first time ever he said that on that show. So I don't know. I just can only go by what I heard on the talk show. I can't verify, if it's real or not. If he spur of the moment thing he said or not, or if it really happened and he hasn't told you himself. You've asked him that yourself personally?
I just gave you the quote.
Yes, okay, that's good enough for me. But okay.
Mhm.
And always believe what you hear on a talk show.
Well, I like what Thom said when he was in his little presentation, and that is that there is a lot of other video clips out there, or still clips that shows proportions and shows what they are. And I just feel like, in the next 5 or so years, or maybe another 10 years, you're going to get better shots because the number of people that are out there, and seems to be a lot more activity, and there's better
It-
chances to come along, and it'll just be obvious what the Sasquatch is and what they look like and their shapes and stuff.
right.
Mhm.
And the one time I did have a camera in my glove box, right during back in the 90s during that road crossing, I didn't dare reach for that camera. Okay, I was scared, man. So it was only just a regular
You ready now?
Minolta camera, nothing special. What do you call those? Point and shoots or whatever back in the day. And whatever. They still would have said it's not good enough.
I've had my camera around my neck and watched them walk by and never even thought about taking a picture.
All right. I think sometimes we have these encounters because you don't have that camera in your hand.
No, they know your intention. They know, they see me, they know I'm not, even if I have a camera, I'm not gonna use it.
Right.
They've asked me not to, so
That's
I
good.
won't.
That's good. Do we really need the
Wasn't it that Scott Carpenter guy? He used to have like a camera to face behind him.
Yeah,
He was getting some pretty good shots.
GoPro
That.
on his back there. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's disrespectful if you see a
It
Sasquatch,
is.
you pull up your camera and you get all excited. That's kind of like a little show of disrespect.
Right. We always
Totally.
ask. We always ask. We don't hide our camera. We always have our camera right in front of us. I always ask if I can take your picture or whatever, and sometimes they oblige, right? You get an interdimensional photo. Sometimes you get the real thing if you're lucky, if you're in the right area, and have access. But
Excuse me while I get my eye drops installed.
go ahead. But yeah, no problem. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people will not do that part, ask for permission. Just like you don't like your photo being taken by a stranger. A lot
Mhm.
of times, but we have to,
Mhm.
bear witness to, we like to film. Today it's a
Yeah.
filming society. Everyone has a camera in their hand. So you think you'd see more evidence maybe soon, hopefully. I don't
Well,
know.
there's a lot, and Thom and I both through the years have seen photos that a lot of people would be shocked at.
Mhm.
The clarity. I think when we were in Pocatello, Idaho at the conference, and that
Mhm.
couple, I think it was, had a photo that
Those
was
girls-
as clear as anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, right. I know
And
the
a
girl,
lot of
one the
others.
girls had. That one the girls had, yeah, that was gorgeous too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got the cutest eye drop person in the world, so I have to let her do it. So.
I gotta put some eye drops too.
She's massaging my legs right now, so if I smile a lot, you'll know why.
Thom.
I get to flirt a lot here.
Oh my goodness, you flirt a lot everywhere. You're like a Bob Jr.
Who do you think I learned from?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mm.
Well, I guess going back to my theme is, to me, the Sasquatch is really more of a feeling inside because you're not going to be doing say face to face with them. You're out there, and for the most part, most of your whole Sasquatch experience is the feelings that you have inside. You're either excited or comforted or and have anticipation, but that's pretty much what the Sasquatch experience is. It's a feeling inside. And if people undervalued that, they'd get a lot further down the road instead of give me that, prove that. That's sort of like an adversarial kind of a relationship, you know.
Yeah,
And I
definitely.
don't think that's what they teach is adversarial relationships. It's
No.
respect and
Respect.
and allowing them to be the way they are. If they
Mhm.
want to be hidden, then it's disrespectful to us to try to capture them and
Mhm.
Yep.
show the world where they're hiding or stuff like that.
Mhm.
I got a lot of compassion for the Sasquatch. I mean, to them, hiding and not being seen is a life or death kind of a deal. If the animals all saw the Sasquatch, they'd all run away, so they have to hide. And if the
Mhm.
hunters and the people's land that they're on can see them, they just get shot at too much. So it's life or death for them to not be seen, and um, that's why it's more of an honor for them to approach or to give you a
Mhm.
glimpse. That's kind of an honor. It's kind of a gift in a way. That's the way
And
I look
they
at it.
do. And they're doing that much more now
Mhm.
than probably they have been. But, they know what's going on in our world better than we know, what's going on in our world. And the basis, even for many indigenous teachings, is that being in respect of things, uh, being respectful at how you live and how you treat other people, our earth, that's a respectful thing.
Right.
And I've listened to many indigenous and talked to many around the world actually who have talked about them, and that they're coming to us is helping us to understand who we are and to bring about that connection again to everything. And that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing more and more people become connected to each other through the heart, through their being involved in this Sasquatch world that is a part of our world as well.
Right.
So what's happening is awesome. I've done this for so many years, and it just I get really excited when I listen to people and see things written
Mhm.
about how just their outlook in life has changed.
Yeah.
They're kinder, more compassionate now.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing to do to humanity and to bring humanity to.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Look at how it's changed in the 14 years that you and I have known one another. From the time we were, you know, the Sultan, the Pope and the High Priestess of Wu, you know, we
Yeah,
earned those
it has.
titles. And,
Well,
and,
yeah,
and now we're middle of the road. But,
it's
before I get away from it, I wanted to cite, all those pictures that we use were from Bill Munn's YouTube channel and his Bill Munn's report. It's a, 4 or 5, uh, chapters on YouTube, and they very much bear, witness. He
oh,
does
they
a,
do.
he does a step by step of the entire scene scenario, how it came down and everything. It's absolutely excellent. And that and his book, When Roger Met Patty, are essential for anybody that wants to understand that film.
Yep. You've also got a book out about this that we've been talking about.
Yeah, but I can't remember which one it is.
It's what, 21 Days to
Oh, that's right,
Destiny?
21 Days to Destiny, and that follows it all, follows Bob and Roger all the way through the, pardon my memory,
You're
Oh,
fine. Your
things-
memory's pretty
things just
sharp.
disappear on me. And my short-term memory. I can give you the lyrics to Wake Up Little Susie with no problem. But what happened yesterday is a problem.
Yeah.
Short-term memory, when you get, it just does it naturally. I don't understand. Not fair though. Not being able to do what you want to is not fair either. But while I've got the floor here, I want to beat our own drums. Next August 25, we're doing Rendezvous 25. We're going back to Elk Meadows. And we're gonna have the greatest gathering that's ever been done. It's gonna be kind of my swan song probably, because, I'll be 82 years old by then.
Wow.
And it's just absolutely so fantastic to understand that we are gonna gather in that same spot where we did in 2014. And gonna have the same things around us that we had then. And we had 5 face-to-face encounters in camp. We had 2 of them stand right in the road in front of us in a car 20 feet. We had one lady locked up, couldn't move.
Uh.
It was just an absolutely fantastic 14 days. So be looking for it. You can go to my website, www.thomcantrall.com/expedition, because it's going to be an expedition, but it's also going to be a conference and a camp trip all at once.
And it's primitive. So
Yeah, you're 34 miles off the paved road,
Where are you holding us
and there's
in
nothing there.
BC or America?
It's right across the ridge from Bluff Creek where Roger and Patty
Okay.
were. Okay, it's in Northern California in Six Rivers National Forest. And excuse me, come in.
Your pendant's going on.
Oh, that's right. I'll get it.
Oh, you got it?
Uh,
Let's see, like,
And it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I just can't wait for it.
yeah, it'll be
so-
like old home week for
Yeah.
some of us
Some
that
of us, yeah.
were there.
Yeah.
So
We-
Thom and I were talking a little bit before. I got to interject how Thom gets me into these things and how I get myself into these things and then bring other people
Mhm.
into it. In 2014, Thom and I were talking because Thom had an amazing encounter, and he so wanted to go back to that area where he had that, but at the time he wasn't able to hike back in there. It was quite a ways, and we were just talking, and he said, I wish I could go and just take pictures of the area now. And I said, I'll go for you. And then I said, and I'll take Sue. It's me. And then the wheels in his head started turning, and the rendezvous was planned, and we went. So, but yeah, but we didn't get to hike back in there because of different things.
Yeah.
So,
But
but
it's
it
just, oh yeah, that's, yeah, she gets me thinking on things, and then and this one, we're gonna have different study groups for different areas. One for Sasquatch, one for orbs, one for little people, one for, whatever we decide. And then we're gonna have a daily presentation. We're gonna do a hike in to the Patterson Gimlin film site. Probably do an overnighter. I think that would be wonderful, doing an overnighter there. Of course, I can't go on that, but I could sure hear about it. And yeah, so if you want to get in on that, do sign up early because it's gonna fill up fast. We're gonna have to limit it. We're having a planning meeting on the 5th to decide the nitty gritty on it, but we've got the major portion figured out, and it's on the website. So yeah, I want to invite people for that.
Well, that's the thing that a lot of people don't know about you, and that is that you have set up and showcased dozens of conferences and campouts, and
Mhm.
I think, I'm not sure, but I think you're probably more than anybody else has ever done. I don't know if anybody, except there's some conferences that go on every year, but you've done a lot of them in the past.
My job is to teach. That's what when my teacher came to me, that's what he told me. I have right here a feather that was gifted to me in the middle of the night. It's the primary, or pardon me, it's the secondary wing feather of a golden eagle. Okay. I can talk about that because they're legal now. But even so, it was gifted to me, so I don't think there's any legal restriction anyway. Even if there was, I'd keep it. But this was gifted to me because of my writing to teach other people. This is, you're our scribe. Isn't that cool?
That's
Yes,
very cool.
it is. It is very cool. That's cool.
That's why I've written 15 books.
15
Wow.
books.
I'm still trying to write my first.
Mm.
I've been too slow, man.
Mm.
I don't know why. I got all the info now, but I just haven't had the gumption to put it down.
Just gotta sit down and do it,
Right.
like everything else. If you wanna quit smoking cigarettes, put them on the shelf and leave them alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already did that part.
Yeah,
Now it's time to.
I quit cigarettes, coffee, and
Coffee the next, I think. Yeah.
yeah, that was the hardest. So I quit drinking, smoking, and coffee at the same day. 15 August 1980.
Wow. That's good.
Mhm.
Willpower, mind over matter. You know,
If you're gonna do it, do it.
that's
That's it.
right.
Don't fool around with it. Just do it.
That's cool. You know, it's funny. I had one of my counters was out in Calgary, Alberta, just
Mhm.
north of the city or west of the city, wherever it was, closer towards Banff. And when I seen the Sasquatch, I thought at first it was a guy in a suit. Okay, that's funny. We're talking about this stuff today, right? But I had a stare down with it, right, for about 2 minutes, right? And then what I seen was amazing was the individual hairs on the arm, right, between the elbow,
Mhm.
and okay, elbow to the elbow to the shoulder. It was long, but there was a clump of hair hanging down. Okay,
Mhm.
the 3 o'clock, 2:30 mid sun was shining down on its back. You know, late August heat there, late August summer day. Well, you could see each individual hair. There's a glob of oil, right? A glob of golden oil on each long hair, about 12 to 16 inches, roughly long, almost like an orangutan. Same sort of color and same sort of style, right? Not too, just short hairs off of here, the front, just shorter, but long. Both sides had the long clumps of hair hanging down, but they were immaculate. Not a
Mhm.
single knot on his long hair anywhere. Hair hanging down or on its body. Absolutely immaculate. I had long hair and I couldn't keep my hair knot free. Okay, and this thing, no problem. It had I was just, I'm absolutely astounded that
You
it
know the
was
purpose,
immaculate coat on it.
you
Yeah,
know the purpose of that long hair on their arms?
no, not really.
You ever see the fringes on a Western jacket?
Yes,
Same thing, it wicks the water off.
okay, that makes sense, yes,
Mhm.
right.
One thing about the PGF again, just looking at it logically. If you were gonna make a hoax film, would you drive 600 miles from Yakima, Washington to somewhere else to do it? You're
Uh,
in the middle of the most Sasquatch-rich country in the world.
But isn't that where they found the footprints first, though?
Oh,
Was-
yeah,
Yeah.
they found lots of things in that area.
Right,
Roger and Bob rode all over that country, then they
right.
knew it very well. Why would you leave that? You know? Number two,
It's
why
closer
would you
to
film it?
Hollywood, maybe it was closer to Hollywood, you know? So they might get more believable, I don't know,
Mhm.
do you understand?
Number two, why would you use the last 24 feet of a 100-foot roll of film? Who would do that to film a hoax? Number three, why would you film it from behind and chase them the whole way?
I don't know.
Does any of this make any sense to anybody?
I don't know. I wasn't there to film with them, filming, but you know, depends. They were amateur filmers to start with. They weren't professionals, so you could
Yeah.
give some leeway on that part of the filming. You know, how long was
Well,
Roger filming? He just start filming the past year before they made the caught that film.
He'd
Like,
been filming here and there all along. He'd been trying, his idea was to make a documentary. That's why they were there.
right, I read
But
about that. Yeah,
yeah,
so I
and
don't know.
that's why he had inquired with Philip Morris about about a suit. If you're
Right,
going to make a documentary, you need live shot, but you also need just the regular old shots and in your documentary and to illustrate points. And yeah, so it makes total sense.
And what was the part about the government or Kodak? They examined the film and they had it all tied up for about 2 years to make sure it wasn't tampered with, and it got the green light to be shown in the theaters after,
They
supposedly
showed it in the theaters
immediately. So that's
Yeah,
just just the
yeah,
rumors, or
yeah. I don't know what Kodak wouldn't have had anything to do with it. It was a Kodak camera, but other than that, they would have had no say in the matter whatsoever.
I see. Right, that makes sense. Right, 68.
Mhm.
Yeah, 'cause when I seen on when I seen Patterson on Mike Douglas, they said the film's already been out, like 5 years. It was already 5 years, they said, out there, and that
Mhm.
Douglas looked absolutely astounded. He didn't think there was
Mhm.
anything suspect at the time or whatever. So,
Mhm.
like I said, I was just a kid. I didn't see anything wrong. I seen a natural creature walking. You know,
Mhm. Yep.
right? To me, it was natural. This is before the Bigfoot, $1 million man, $60 million man with Bigfoot or anything like that. Before the $6 million
Take it.
man,
The
all
the the
stuff. But
trackway was measured by independent people,
right,
and the steps measured from 42 to 52 inches. Okay, the average was 48 inches.
right,
I have a rope that I've made called my patty rope, and what I did is marked off individual step lengths on that, and I love to stretch that out and have people walk it. Very few people can hit the marks. And even those that do, their head goes up and down like a yo-yo
okay,
as they're walking. Because we walk so much differently than they do. We have an entirely different gait. When we walk, we pole vault over our knees and we land with a heavy heel strike. When they walk, they use a compliant gait. The foot comes up, the leg swings out to the side and back and front and sits down directly in line with the foot behind it. Okay,
Okay.
when the foot hits the ground, it hits flat. Then as they come forward, the weight transfers through the front half of the foot. They have a mid-tarsal brake. A lot of primates do, we don't. But they have a mid-tarsal brake that actually brakes and puts all the pressure then on the front half of the foot. So if you look at a cast of a footprint, and the front half must be deeper than the back half for it to be real. Unless the medium is so hard that it won't compress. But in normal medium, in ours, the heel will be the deepest. And then our weight comes down on our foot. Okay, so there's one way to tell a track, whether it's legitimate or not.
I hear you. I hear you there. Right.
Mhm.
Anything else, guys? Michael?
I was going to ask you, how do you say your name? Is Andritos?
Andritsos.
And
Andritsos. It's a Greek word. It's Greek.
Greek? Yeah, that's cool.
Born in
Andritos.
Toronto, but yeah, Greek. Parents were Greek.
How long you been in the Sasquatch, and what happened when you first started out?
I started when I was first time I seen Sasquatch. First time I had it was a little person encounter and a portal in little person encounter. 7 years old, right? That progressed to Sasquatch, getting mind speak or first telepathic message about 10, 11, 12. So first started about 10 or 11. And then 12, my friend had an encounter. I was supposed to go camp with him. I didn't go, but he had an encounter. I was getting messages sent to me after that. It was like it was meant for me, the encounter or something. But he kept my interest going. Like, but because we're in a northern country area, Sasquatch was mostly talked about, from late spring to fall or whatever. After that, wintertime, it was hockey and other stuff. Sasquatch wasn't big news here, other than if you've seen it on a TV show or $6 million man, like I said later on, reruns and then stuff started coming out, more topics about the what do you call that one? That movie, the Boggy Creek or something, where the Sasquatch is reaching in through the van with the arm. Remember that one? No, you ever seen that movie?
Legend of Boggy
Boggy
Creek.
Creek. Yeah, that one. That one freaked me out. But then later on, like I said, at Scout Jamboree Camp, when I was 14, I first had the interdimensional encounter right there in front of me, right, 2 feet away from me, and then the next day the flesh and blood encounter, right?
Oh, so
About
what was the interdimensional use? Was he like cloaked or something, or sort of invisible?
no,
Or what?
he just appeared. He was like hovering, like hovering about at about knee height. I was sitting in a chair right in front of me to show me that something important about the interdimensional being first, right? And then and he was like almost solid, like 3/4, like he was sort of like translucent, but also like 3/4 solid. I've seen that a couple times. That type of image, right? Not 100% like solid entity, but like about 3/4. You could still like see a bit through him, but not much. Like, do you know what I mean? Almost like seeing a ghost sort of thing, but not. He looked like real, like you know what I mean, like heavy, real in front of you, like 7.5 feet tall, whatever. You're looking up and you're scared, right? And he's telling you don't be scared, right? What can you do? He's right in front, right? Like I mean, right in front of me the first time. It's almost like an what do you call it? Oh, it's almost like a daydream, but it's not. Like if you've never had that happen to you first time, the interdimensional, it's strange. I don't really have the words to explain it right now, but it's like having a sort of like an out of body experience, except you're seeing somebody else do that. Do you know what I mean? Like I've had an out of body experience in that where same sort of thing. It's like you look solid, but you're not. You're almost 100% solid, but you're about 80% only. Like, you know, not that light is going through you, but you could sort of, it's hard to say it. It's like, it's not a solid person. You know what I mean? Like it's like putting a movie projector light on them or something, and you know, and you get the image on the wall, but it's not real, you know, or something like that.
I actually have a photo of that,
Okay.
and I've
Mhm.
posted it in Pork and Beans group before. And Tom actually took the photo and put the same photo side by side. And in one side, I marked where he was, and in the other side, I didn't. But I mean, you can see him in that. He is in the process of uh, becoming where you couldn't see him, but he was there in kind of a white mist type of a thing.
Oh,
And his name, I called him the old white one. And he not I didn't call him old because he was white. I just called him because he was old. He was quite an elder.
right, right. This was a younger dude, like, you know, he was an adult, but he was like I said, brown color, but he was like, but like I said, he looked real, but you could tell he was like, you know, I've seen ghosts and stuff like that since I was a kid. So I know he reminded me of like looking at a ghost when I seen a ghost there in the where we were staying there when I was 7 years old. So I remember he looked almost like that, but more solid than the ghost. Even the ghost dude there, I talked to him. He looked solid, like I'm saying, but they weren't. Like you could just tell he's not a solid person, like being. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to explain for me, but it's what I see in that.
Oh, I think you explained it pretty good. I think people are going to understand
Right,
what
thank
you're, you
Mhm.
know, what you're trying to convey
right,
to us.
right.
So
It's-
you're okay.
right.
Mhm.
It's the last time was about 2018 when I seen that large basketball-sized orb, and then the two Sasquatch emerged from the blue orb, but the same thing. They were only like about 75-80% solid. If you're still a little translucent, like they materialized right in front of me,
Yep.
right, and turned into like I said, about 80%. When they, you know, after about a minute, 2 minutes, they walked, turned, whatever. They were satisfied with what they came for, to look at me or whatever, to see who I was. And then when they walked off, they were like actually more solid as they walked away, but they still were not completely 100%. I could see like a bit of light going through them a bit. Like these ones hadn't materialized completely. You know what I mean? Some it's hard to tell. They look like almost like a solid person.
Did you say they both came out of the same orb? I
Yeah, the
think that's
same orb,
fascinating.
male and female. The male was 8 feet. The female about 7.5 feet tall. Right out of the blue basketball size orb, big orb. Right, that was hovering there for about 30 seconds, a minute, 20, 30
I've
feet.
heard of I've heard of them coming out of spaceships as
Yeah.
orbs.
Oh,
Then
okay.
when they get down close to the ground, they transform or they emerge out of the orbs. I
Right.
thought that was pretty
Right.
interesting.
First I had my friend was right there, like I said, 30 feet away from me, but he was on the other side of the hedge, the shrubs and the tree. So this was right between two major, a white pine and yellow pine or something like that. And the light, it was about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So, you know, the midday sun there, it's on an angle coming down at the dinner time sun. It's coming down on an angle, but the light here was shimmering off both sides of the trees. Okay, it should have only been hitting the on the left side here, right, coming
Are you
down on it.
saying that the
Right.
the orb actually lit up the
No, no, hold
shade?
on. First there was a golden shimmering light, like shimmering, like shimmer, you know, like like shimmering, gold color light, flickering light, sort of, right, shimmering, and then the orb appeared. Okay, the big basketball out of nowhere, out of thin air, just boom, right there. Okay, and then 2 minutes or whatever of that, hovering 6 feet off the ground beside the pine tree, the two Sasquatch boom, materialized right out of the orb. I seen them come out of the orb and expand, all that, you know. So not just like, you know, wham, they came. I seen them come out of the orb and materialize, like grow. You know what I mean? To that size. Okay, not they didn't just magically appeared and they were already that size. No, they grew into this size also, but really fast. And but they were only about 60% at first, 50 to 60. Then they started slowly getting more and more thicker and more solid. So they would hit about 75%. They weren't 80% max, and they weren't 100% interdimensional. They were only about 75%. Same thing. And I could see a bit of light still going through or something, right? So that was different from the other interdimensional one I seen as a kid right there.
How far away were they from where you were standing?
30 feet max.
30 feet. That's just like across your front yard kind of a deal.
We had already marked it off the property line, so we knew exactly we were building something there, right? And so we had cut a couple trees down. Maybe they weren't happy. We were cutting the trees. Who knows, right? Or came to
So to me, they did it for you. Do you feel like they did that just for you to see it?
Yes,
Like it
yes.
wasn't a coincidence. They could have done that anywhere in
No,
the woods.
they came to see me because I think 6 months earlier it was a harsh winter, and I said if you need anywhere to go, you can go to this piece of property we own, right? You know, I put out channeled the message out. So to my spirit guides, maybe they, you know, because it was first that spring I had seen the two juveniles up in the tree. I seen the glyphs on the ground, and I read the signs, and I found them way up there on the tree, huddled together on a cold April day, right? So later on in August, a few months later, I came. I guess I was worried because I'm wondering where the parents were. Okay, so I guess the parents came to have a look at me or whatever, you know, because I did say you can come stay on this property, no one will bother you. You know what I mean? If you're looking for a home somewhere, you know, to crash for the winter, there was sheltered areas from the wind, snow, whatever, you know. It was a good area, close to water. And then I found out where I had the sighting on our property, little property there we had, 1 acre of land, right, with a friend, was we discovered where I had the sighting of the two young juveniles. There was a spring coming out of the ground after spring water that my friend said wasn't there before that. Okay, so amazing, you know, right? And that was my section. He wanted, then after he said, no, you're getting the middle section now. He wanted the section with the spring water. We had divided up the land 3 ways or something. Yeah, so the 1 acre. Then I think later he might have sold it. I'm not sure. I've been there in the past couple of years. And there was a bunch of family turmoil, you know, parents getting old and so and that. So that put a damper on things for a couple of years, and the pandemic and all that. So I haven't been out there yet. I was planning to go again this year to have a look if it's still there. It hasn't been sold and developed or anything. So the land. So I don't know. We'll find out soon this summer. But yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. I don't know if I have any photos of that. I'll have to dig up or ask him if he could provide me with some photos.
Well, you've had kind of an amazing life because you saw stuff and were experiencing things from a young age. I
Right.
was going to ask if being engaged with the Sasquatch has changed you anyway, but I got a feeling that,
It
there
has,
was not a before and after
yeah.
because you're just kind of continuous, right?
The last encounter changed me more, I think, you know, than the previous ones. I got more compassionate, I think, you know, for some reason, which I wasn't. I opened up more to share my stuff in that because of my last encounter with the orb and that was, I think, profound. It took
That was profound, I tell you, because
took a while for it to,
they're teaching you physics that
right,
they don't teach in school.
right,
There's,
right.
when you can see with your own eyes them going in and out of this reality, that's
And
uh
my
that's a
friend,
really high
you know,
honor right there.
my friend was only 10 feet away on the other side of the hedge, the shrubbery and the tree, and he couldn't see what was happening. But even when he looked back towards where I was sitting down on the ground, he couldn't see me there for a few minutes there. He couldn't see me. Then when he finally did see me, he said I had shrunk down to a little person. So how do you explain that? Right? He said when he was looking at me, he said I had shrunk down to a little person where I was sitting on the ground during this encounter. But he didn't see the set. And when they walked away, they walked like he's standing here, and they're there, and there's a tree and shrub, but they walked straight back. And I said, "You didn't see them when they walked back?" He goes, "No, I didn't see anything." He says, "Right?" They walked right past you. And I said, "You didn't?" No. So if you're not meant to see
So
them,
he
you're not.
didn't see what you saw,
No, he
but what
did.
he saw, it must have been some kind of a field effect because you're 30 feet away from him, and there's
Yeah,
two Sasquatch there coming out of the dimensions. That
right.
that might have distorted his whole thing there, you know.
I don't know. There was, I
Brian
think they
talked
were in
about
a little
talk
a bubble portal, sort of like that, like a little portal umbrella. Just in
right.
that little immediate area, we're in a portal sort of atmosphere, like all this is happening. But they did walk away off into the backwoods, where then there's Lake Ontario, the lake, right? So I don't know where they were going, but they just walked away. They didn't dematerialize. They just walked away and then disappeared into the dark backwoods. So that was different. They materialized out of thin air, but they walked away. So that's all I can tell you. As said, about 80% solid entities in that. So that was interesting. And then
That happens time and time again with people. You've got one person who's seeing all of this stuff, and there's another person there, and they don't see, what you're seeing, but they may see something totally different than what you're seeing. And I
yes,
mean, when you're in that vibrational energy, things do or can look distorted, but also there's so many realities that are happening within that. And I think it's just the coolest thing that you've got this person who is totally seeing this happen. And then you've got someone else that's there that's seeing something else
right,
happen,
right,
And then
so
there's the case of that we witnessed where she saw one thing and then talked herself out of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had two Sasquatch 20 feet in front of the car. She yelled out, "Bigfoot!" Okay. And in the 24 miles between there and our camp, she had decided she had not seen two Bigfoot standing in front of our car. She had seen two Mexican drug mules wearing long-haired ghillie suits, flip-flops, with rucksacks on their back.
really,
And because why? Because her mind wouldn't accept
Yeah.
Sasquatch. It didn't know what Sasquatch was, but it
right,
knew what Mexican drug mules were. It knew what a long-haired ghillie suit was, but not people with long hair.
right.
And the Osman pads on the bottom of their feet are very visible. So that became flip-flops. And of course, the humped over shoulders became a rucksack because her mind could accept all of those things.
Right.
That was the most startling thing I think I've ever seen in my life, was somebody doing this change away from what happened to something they could believe. It took us days before she finally started realizing, and it was Arla that made the big change there. Finally, she said, "Jackie, you've traveled 6,000 miles to see what you saw." She'd come to California, Northern California from England for this outing.
Wow.
And she said, "Now your mind's not allowing you to accept what you've seen." And that got her thinking. And by the time I got her back to the airport in Portland, a few days later, she was well accepted. She understood what happened and saw what she saw. But that was a very startling, remarkable thing.
That's great.
It was that that was way cool. I know in one of our gatherings here in Oklahoma, down in the Comanche Mountains, one of the guys witnessed a large male, and very
Portion's-
clear
Portion's
daytime.
father.
It could have been.
Yeah.
But when we went back to the cabin, he drew it exactly what he saw.
Wow.
The next day, he had totally negated what he saw and what he drew. He just went totally backwards. No, that's probably not what I saw. And yet he had, as soon as we had that happen, went back and drew it out and then negated it. But that's what happens with so many people. It's just hard for some people to grasp that, yes, this is what you saw.
Right, right. Incredible, man. Yes, that was like same thing. We were in a boat, and the one guy, there were three of us fishing, right? Me, the friend, and his younger cousin, and we're sitting in the back. He was in the front, and I had a portal open, 6 feet up in the air on our right side. He was in the front of the boat, open up. I see it's like a window opened up, and handfuls of tiny little pebbles were scattered towards him, hitting him in the back and that, right? And then, boom, it stopped, whatever. And the guy turned around, stopped. He accused us of throwing both myself and his younger cousin, seeing the pebbles come out, open up in the sky there, like, like right there off to the boat, 6 feet in the air, like a window opened up, more pebbles come out, right? And I said, look, I got a fishing rod. He was accusing us of throwing these pebbles, right? I said, no, but that was a miracle. Seeing that, and the younger guy, he seen it too. The pebbles come flying out of nowhere, like like as if the wind brought them, But and then
Yeah,
the
not
same
many
guy,
pebbles in the middle of a lake.
right, right. Same guy, about 2 years later, we're in the car driving late at night. I'm driving. Sasquatch crossed the street. He denies it, right? Me and the younger cousin again. Yeah, we seen it crossing. He's in the front seat with me. He totally denied it. So no, it's a bear. I said bears don't walk on 2 feet across roads in the middle of the night. Not that I know about, right? But and they're not 8 feet tall or whatever, 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 but it was fun. And he even turned and looked towards us as it's crossing the road, the Sasquatch. But like I said, the guy, he totally denied it. He didn't wanted no part of that. He sees what some of us go through who admit to that. He didn't want to be admitted that he was crazy or what. I don't know what he thought, but he would not admit to what he's seen. So there you go. Same person involved in two different incidents, but didn't get to see the Sasquatch. Or he did, but he denied it in that. That's what's strange, Actually, the second time, the first time he didn't see the pebbles coming. Just like I said, it's like somebody zipped open a window and was tossing these tiny, tiny little pebbles, handfuls, right? 2-3 times it happened, but 3 times in that. It was like a warning, stay away from this person or you're going to get in trouble years later or something like that, possibly, right? Because there was, I don't, we don't talk to each other now for 20 years. So for whatever happened, more than 20 years. So that's it. But it was a warning from the Sasquatch, see? Trying to warn us, stay safe too. They're trying to look out after us, We have our best at heart sometimes. Go ahead.
I want to thank you guys for showing up, and I learned a lot. Learned a lot from Thom and Thom and Thom, the Thom and Thom show.
Cool. So did I. Because I had, I hated hearing that Patty was, not real. This I believed since I was a little kid, and I hated hearing about all this nonsense. What I really truly believed in my heart was real, and not much proof was being offered, but just whatever, and it just
It
so
only takes one piece of proof, and their memorial index is absolutely irrefutable,
right.
absolutely irrefutable.
It makes sense so much. Yes, thank you so much for pointing that out to us today. I really
So I'm gonna end this video is gonna end up on my YouTube channel. So if
Right
you
on.
guys have any links that you want to share on YouTube, or if Tom's got any links of books or his upcoming camp out, just make sure you send it to me in in the messages so I can add it to the
For
comment.
sure, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you got two powerhouses. They're different polarity of powerhouses I wonder how many years we got of Sasquatch experience. Like, is
66 here,
that's yours? How many years?
66.
66, and Arla's 70.
Almost 70.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I got like I guess 12 or 13 years, and
Wow. I got about 50 years
50
roughly.
years. There you go. So
14 when I first seen Sasquatch. So about 46 years there, right? I've seen, but the little person, that's about 50 years I known about little people, cryptids, portals, and Sasquatch. Every time I discover something, it was like I was getting mind speak, a message saying, yes, you're right, that's a portal, that's this, that's that. It was like I was being led on a pathway, for years. Every time I discovered something or figured something out, I would get a message sometimes, and tell me, yes, that you're right. But I didn't,
pushing
I don't know
150,
how I
200
knew
years.
some of the
That's
stuff.
a lot
Pardon me?
of experience.
Yeah, I'll have to talk more about it sometime because I don't know how I knew some of this stuff. I was just young, but when I first met first found the portal and the little people. It was like something was drawing me from across the street. I was, downtown Toronto, in a neighborhood, but I could sense this energy calling to me, drawing me away. I wasn't even allowed to cross the major street. I got in big trouble later, right? But 3 weeks in a row, something was calling me. Every Saturday, I had to go
Yeah.
venture forth. I was allowed to go further. A couple blocks down the street. It was Saturday because people are home, more kids. That it was safer. But we weren't still not allowed to cross a big street without an adult, and I did. I risked big trouble there.
I totally understand that you're not supposed to go here or you're not supposed to, but you still do.
That's
Because
right.
you're supposed to. Even at a little age, no, this is what I'm supposed to do, so I gotta do it.
Right. Of course. And then you have to hold those secrets to yourself after because you can't tell many people because some people didn't like it that you knew about something like that and they freaked out and beat me up at 7 years old that same day. There was a good thing I seen something happen, but the bad thing I got beat up for it because some guy didn't like the schoolyard bully didn't like that you seen him talked about little people and stuff. I don't know, whatever stuff happens, but it affected me for years. That prevented me from sharing because I tried to share and I got beat up for it bad in that. So, but then years later, like a lot of times it stopped me from sharing. Every time I had certain encounters and stuff happen, I had to think about it and stop, and I couldn't tell people because I worried about the repercussions, sometimes. So but now it's taken me years to get open up. I was shy and had to learn how to open up and share my stuff. And I'm getting there. Slowly I'm getting there. Soon I can hopefully put it in a book. I'm trying. So in that. Thank you so much for having me today. And I got a little out of hand. I appreciate you didn't kick me off, right? And I had to dial it back a bit. Right. Thank you. I appreciate it a
It
lot.
happens. It
Yeah.
happens.
Thanks. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah.
Did you say you had your own show? You have a little
Yeah,
YouTube
I have
channel?
a talk show. I do, once or twice a week sometimes when I have the energy in
That's
that.
fine.
talk about my encounter, what happens during my encounter sometimes, the energy.
What's the name of your show?
The Real Whoop Sasquatch live talk show or whatever.
Oh, that's
I'll
pretty
give
cool.
you a
Good.
link in that, right? In that,
Yeah.
it's only once or twice a week, Fridays, so
Well,
open forum.
you should definitely post them on the Pork and Bean show.
Yeah, I've slowly been, trying to get back into it and that. Whatever, like I said, I had recently some laser eye treatments for my eyes and that, so that set me back a little bit. So I just only slowly been doing the odd shows when I have the energy and that and feel all right and that. I got to go back next week to the eye doctor, see if everything's okay now. It's been 2 months. I had a few treatments and that, so and clean up some stuff.
Deb Matthews left a message for I guess it's Thom Cantrall. She says, if we were to go to your camp out in Bluff Creek, do you think my GMC terrain would make it? It's not a four-wheel
yeah.
drive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's only 2 miles of gravel road.
Yeah, she says, I know of the approximate locations, about 37 miles from Hooperez. So yeah, so and she knows that area really well. She's been out there for a few times. But so,
Oh, yeah.
so it's paved roads, only 2 roads where she'll definitely
Yeah,
get
the Go Road
off the mountain.
leaves the highway and it's paved, but there's broken parts in the pavement. They haven't maintained it in 30 years. So you have to be careful with it. But it's paved all the way to the final drop off where you drive 2 miles down into the campground area. Into Elk Meadows. And that's good gravel road, so
Right.
there's no problem at all with any vehicle getting in there and out of there.
Cool.
My Buick did it, so.
But your Buick did a lot of things through the years.
Well, I did have a Buick Bronco. I must admit that. It went places most Buicks don't go.
Buick Bronco,
Yep.
I never heard of that. That was a Ford Bronco.
Well, it was a Buick that thought it was a Bronco.
And a Chevy Blazer myself,
Uh,
the older style, 80s.
I had a Bronco for many years, and believe me, that was the one vehicle that was built for me. That thing
Cool.
would go everywhere I wanted to and bring me back more often than not.
That's good. That's good. That's good to have a reliable vehicle,
Mhm.
right?
Well, thank you all for being on the Pork and Bean show.
Right.
A little bit of history, a little bit of insight into
Mhm.
inside the Sasquatch world.
Mhm.
Great. On.
Was a good show. It
Yeah.
was a good show.
It was fun.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on
Mhm.
today. Thank you. I have to
Yeah.
come back on again when I'm feeling better and have way more energy. Talk about some
Good.
more incredible stuff, right?
Uh,
We all have incredible stuff. I'm
uh,
really, fascinated every time I hear different stuff, That's good because we all have our own experiences,
oh, we do.
Right?
Yep,
We do.
we do.
Right. That's a
Uh,
great. Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank you,
time
Arla.
to say goodnight.
You're
and,
welcome.
go have some nice
Bye.
lunch wherever you are.
Yeah, it's almost lunchtime. Unfortunately, where I live, I never get a nice lunch, but but I had a great